Change your heart, change your life, change the planet.
Hey everybody, it's Tim Van Orden, and today I want to talk about something that came up on the Patreon group chat yesterday. We were talking about the difference between introverts and extroverts and the different needs that they have inside of a conversation or social interaction in general. It seems that most of the people that tune into my channel are introverts and can therefore relate to what I share. I think I probably scare many extroverts away. So on this call yesterday, there was a lot of discussion about introversion and how conversations can be exhausting. So we unpacked that a little bit, and I came up with a fun metaphor. When an introvert goes into a conversation, they think it's about the content, or they think that that's all there is in conversation, is content. Am I sharing information? Are you sharing information? Are we coming to some point of understanding, growth, increased knowledge? Is there some kind of exchange that leaves us better off? So when an introvert, especially a shy introvert, approaches a conversation, they often ask themselves, do I have anything of value to share or contribute? And if the answer is no, if you're not immediately inspired to have words coming out of your mouth, you're probably going to say, well, then I'm just not going to say anything. I'm not going to get into that conversation because I don't have anything to say, or I don't know what to say. And I think this is where introversion can become shyness, because the introvert thinks that it's about the content of the conversation. And if you've entered enough conversations and didn't have content that you thought was worthy of being shared, you might have felt really awkward in that exchange. And over time, you can learn that you're the awkward person in conversation, and this can lead to shyness. And keep in mind as I share this that there is a spectrum between extreme introversion and extreme extroversion. Nobody is at either end. We're all somewhere in the middle. Some people leaning on the extroverted side, some people leaning on the introverted side. And it's not about how much you enjoy people. It's about how you frame and experience the world. The introvert is about content. The extrovert is about the surface experience. So the metaphor that I came up with to describe what the average extrovert is looking for in a social interaction is that of kicking a ball around. When I was younger, my buddies would come over to the house, or I would go over to their house, and we'd throw a ball, we'd kick a ball. We would do some kind of physical engagement, and the conversation often went along with it. And this is what the extrovert is looking for inside of a conversation or social interaction. Just kicking the ball around. That's it. Doesn't matter what we're talking about as long as we're having this interaction. I throw it at you, you throw it at me, and we throw it to somebody else, and there's this game afoot. It's not about scoring. It's not about the rules of the game. It's just about kicking a ball back and forth. And that's what the average extroverted conversation looks like. But for the introvert, looking at content and thinking that content has to be of high importance or high value before it can be shared, we're like, okay, I've got a ball, but I don't know if it's the right one. And which foot should I kick it with? And, well, am I kicking it the right way? And there's this conversation that we add on top of it because we think it's about the ball rather than the exchange of the ball. Just exchange something rather than worrying about what it is that's being exchanged. So you'll see that extroverts are more readily playful and will joke around with each other because it doesn't matter what they're sharing. Whereas the introvert, it matters a lot. Like, well, I don't just want to play with these things. In most conversations, especially if there's more than one person that you're talking with, it's not about content. In fact, I think it's nearly impossible, not impossible, but nearly impossible to deliver content that builds inside of a conversation when there are more than two listeners. It's just not the way most extroverted brains are wired. And you'll find that the conversation gets sidetracked and you can't get to where you want to go, to the value that you think that you need to share. And every time there's a sidetrack or a tangent or somebody interrupts you, you're like, oh, I got to start all over again. Or maybe they're not taking me seriously, and they're not. because they don't care about the content. They may listen to the content a little bit, but they'll play with it because it's a ball. The introvert takes it very seriously. They're like, no, this content is not a ball. Don't kick my not a ball. And the extrovert's just kicking it around like, okay, ooh, you kicked the ball to me. I'm going to kick it back. And the introvert doesn't know what to do with this. So the moral of the story is that in most conversations, as an introvert, going in, understand that it's about kicking a ball around. It's not about delivering a linear progression of content that leads to ultimate value. Especially if you have something really important to say and you're waiting for the right moment to say it, and that moment never comes, and maybe an hour later there's finally an opportunity for you to speak, but what you have to say is totally unrelated. And if you do share it, people are going to be looking at you like, why did you kick that ball? That's just weird. That's awkward. So don't take it personally, but understand what's going on. Understand the dynamic of an extroverted social interaction. So if you do decide to engage, play ball. Don't try to get your content across unless somebody asks or unless you ask permission. Do you mind if I share this? Would you listen? Could I put this out in front of you and let's not kick a ball for a moment? Could I do that? Is that okay? They may say yes. They may say no. They may say yes and kick the ball anyway. And then, okay, well, yeah, you're not on board. And that's fine. Just start kicking a different ball around or walk away. So those are some thoughts from our group chat yesterday. And if you like this conversation, make sure to give it a thumbs up and leave your comments below. Have you had experiences where you walked into a conversation and tried to share value and somebody kicked it? Let's talk about it. And if you like this channel, subscribe. And if you want to be a part of these conversations, come on over to Patreon and you can be a part of this discussion moving forward. And I appreciate all of your support. So thank you and have a great day. Bye.